Dear Lord, I just thank you for bringing everyone together today. Lord, like-minded people coming together, try to improve your creation, Lord, and provide a healthy food to those that are not able to grow. And dear Lord, I just thank you for the opportunity to work with these people. Looking forward to our event at Mark Reed's farm. And Lord, we just pray for support for Mark as he's preparing for this day. And Lord, we just pray that you be with each of us today. And Lord, you help our words to be yours. And we pray in Jesus' name, amen. Okay, first of all, I wanted to kind of recap the last fall's webinar. We had issues with technology, and God willing, tonight we won't have those issues again. But I apologize to anyone that was on last time. We weren't able to get the recording of that because calls were getting dropped and picked up, and it just ended up being kind of a rough go at it last time. So I apologize to everyone that attended, and we're going to try to get some stuff together for you here, and we'll expand on that and this year's, and we'll probably try to recap, talk to Jeremy and Vic and Jerry, and we're going to come up with the solution on kind of how to recap some of that, and then just keep the ball moving forward as well, so we're not wasting a bunch of time. Yeah, so basically tonight we just wanted to get with all the members and talk a little bit about what we're going to be seeing at Mark Reed's farm in the fall. And hold on a second. Yeah, hold on a second. So yeah, so we're just going to be shooting some questions, real informal. If anyone has any other questions they want to ask, you could raise your hand or put it in the chat, and we'll go ahead. Steve, you have anything you want to add before we get started?
Just really excited. First of all, that your son is there. That's a win. I think it says a lot about kind of culture of this association, and I'm excited that Mark has his kids around too, and we'll get to meet them, see them again whenever we're down there. But excited about the event and all the work that's been going into it from Bob and Christian and Mark and Becky and Heidi and everybody else, Ann, that's doing the work. And yeah, we're getting excited about pushing forward. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. But yeah, so excited to hear what Mark has to say about preparation and what's coming down the pipe for us.
Oh, also did want to add too, to order some merchandise for the event out there in Ohio this year. We have a special logo coming up, and there's some pre-order forms that Becky sent out. So make sure you get a pre-order on any merchandise. So first question kind of goes along with what Steve commented there about our family and stuff. So Mark, if you would tell us a little bit about your farm and your family and where you're located, please.
Thank you, AJ. So my farm, Thousand Hill Acres, we are located in East Central Ohio, Coshocton County, which would be the northernmost Appalachian county of Ohio. We run a group of Devons and some crossbreds, mostly high percentage Devon cattle. And when I say we, I mean my 3 children and I, and my father, my mother, and her husband, my stepfather. I get a lot of help from them. We also raise hay. We make quite a bit of hay every year. I haven't been able to kick the hay habit yet, but I like to have that little bit of security going into winters here. And so we've continued to make about 120 acres of hay here. We do get 2 to 3 cuttings a year, our annual precipitation. Thankfully, we get a fair amount of precipitation, but not as like we got last weekend. We got 3.5 inches of rain in a day, and we've been going around like crazy people the last 2 days fixing those problems. But Yeah, it's 1,000 Hill Acres. Came from a Bible verse, Psalm 50, verse 10, and all things belong to Him, even the cattle on 1,000 hills. And we felt that the hilly terrain that we graze and we're stewards of, we get it was a fitting name for our farm at the time. We sell grass-fed and finished beef, some stocker cattle, and some genetics. Mostly genetics that we have are from Lakota Ranch down in Virginia, from Jeremy Eng. We have some Buckeye line genetics. Right now we've got a really star bull, Lorenzo. You guys will see a Buckeye son and 2 Lorenzo sons for sure coming up in October. We'll have them on display. I'm really excited about to show those off. And we also lease some bulls every year out to different farmers, and thankfully some people locally have shown interest just from seeing the cattle that I raise, driving by my pastures. I rent quite a bit of ground around the western end of Coshocton County, and a lot of people see them. And mostly the cattle out here are black cattle, and everybody wants to know what these red cattle are. I have an opportunity and a segue to be able to talk about them and share the gospel about Devon cattle. So I've been very blessed and thankful for all those opportunities. Hopefully that answers your question, AJ.
Yeah, it did. Thank you. Follow up with that is so how about some advertisement and some outlets that you have there? You've been getting some feedback on that?
Yes, we have a large Amish population around northern Coshocton County into Holmes County, and we have taken advantage of an opportunity of a publication called The Vendor that is sent out to over 30,000 readers per week. And locally, I've had phone calls from people that do know me, but didn't necessarily know this event was coming up. I don't speak with them on a regular basis, don't see them often, and they've wanted to know about what we're doing, what we're going to talk about, and how they can find out more. So I've been able to point them in that direction and tell them, read the information on the flyer that was in the vendor. We ran a full page ad that'll go until October. I've also handed out flyers to some different feed mills in the area, 3 in particular that produce or that sell some minerals that are grain-free minerals that for like-minded folks, for grass farmers, and I'm hoping that will take a hold and draw some interest as well.
All right, good. Thank you. Can you describe your journey to Red Devons and what you love most about them?
Okay. Well, I my journey with Red Devon started back in 2011, 2012. I was looking for grass-fed genetic cattle around our area, and at a local store, a little dairy hut where we get ice cream and different things, snacks and treats from. I ran into a local cattleman and was talking with him about what I'd been looking for, and he asked if I'd ever considered Red Devon cattle, and I'd never heard of them. So I did some research into those cattle and spoke with the guy that owned them at the time, which just so happens was Jeremy Eng, that had some cattle that were being grazed locally, custom grazed, and we invested in some cow-calf pairs that were bred and got into them that way, and bought a purebred bull that we even just as recently as last evening we're reminiscing on our bull that we initially invested in and loved so much. And then it wasn't very long on one of my trips down to see Jeremy and his family, we got really interested in purebred genetics, and we've been able to slowly but surely build that herd, and it's gone very, very well. So that's kind of how we got into it. Kind of stumbled into it.
Oh, that's great. Along that lines, you mentioned about Jeremy. Who have been some of your mentors and influences in your life and in the cattle industry? And they don't have to
Oh
be.
man.
You could mean it could be your parents, could be whatever. Just kind of want to learn about Mark and what molds him.
All right. Well, I think the person that I am, I believe that any person that you encounter, you can take something away from that interaction that you can build upon, or pick and choose from things you like or don't like about the personality and how they interact with other people. And but my mother and my father obviously have been very influential to me in my childhood, growing up years, and supported me in the various interests that I've had, and opportunities that I've taken advantage of and participated in. But there was a gentleman that I worked for in my junior high years, clear through my high school years, that taught me a lot about life, living, perspectives, and agriculture, conventional agriculture. A local feed mill owner that I hung out at when I lived in town. I would hang out with him and his son at the feed mill, and kind of pal around with them quite a bit, and always knew that I wanted to be in some type of agriculture. As far as red Devon cattle go, I would say that there hasn't been one interaction that I've had with the members of the association that I have not learned something from, or walked away from the conversation from thinking, I wish I hadn't had that conversation. It's been such a great opportunity to be introduced to and have the opportunity to converse with and communicate with every single red Devon breeder, enthusiast, and across the U.S. And it's just, I want to continue to build those relationships and those contacts, and continue to get advice and give advice from time to time when I can. But we're always learning from each other, and that's been a very, very good opportunity. And I thank the association for that. Everyone in the association.
Yeah, I agree, Mark. I've had the same experiences. It always seems like people in the Devon community are always willing to share with each other.
Yep.
And they seem like it's a group of people that's kind of taking it to the next level. It isn't just like surface and you do things with cattle and then you kind of forget about it. It seems like people are very intentional within the Devon community as far as genetics and their meat production, and so I really enjoy seeing that as well. On the genetic side, what are some of the genetics we can expect to see when we get to 1,000 Hill Acres in Wahonda, Ohio?
Well, like we talked about initially, you'll have some Buckeye genetics, and then for sure some we have a bull named Lorenzo that's owned by Jeremy Ing right now, that we've been breeding with for essentially 3 breeding seasons. We bred spring last year, fall last year, and we're breeding spring again this year with him. And he is a genetics of a King Henry, I believe. He's a homozygous pool bull.
Okay, sounds good. What are some of your breeding goals?
Well, obviously to breed top quality genetic red Devon cattle that continue to thrive in the environment that we have here in East Central Ohio, We need heat tolerant, but we also need cold tolerant. We have 4 true seasons in Ohio, and when we go to selecting breeding stock and different cattle to keep for future generations, we definitely have to take into consideration how those genetics have done in this climate in the past. And so I'm really interested in continuing to breed good genetic cattle that will continue to produce for a long time offspring for generations to come. But I also am very interested in learning more about and continuing to improve upon the genetics that we have here, and the opportunities for other genetics that may do well in our area. So we definitely look into those opportunities as well.
So longevity that's pretty much like one of your top priorities there.
Yeah, absolutely, as it should be with any cattleman that's trying to make it, if you will, in this industry.
Yeah. Now you touched a little bit on there, some of your breeding season. You want to just let folks know, I mean, kind of like age groups and type of animals they can expect to see there in the fall. You said you have fall,
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah, we're going to have some yearlings. We'll have some yearling heifers, yearling bulls, a 2-year-old bull that's up and coming, doing very well, and then we'll have different cows from anywhere from 3 years old up to we've got some 16, 17-year-old cows that are still producing and looking phenomenal to offer for everybody's viewing.
I think when I had talked to Bob there, he talked a little bit about they wanted me to bring up about how we're involving the FFA students in this, and what do you feel that's going to bring to the table with having? I mean, what kind of excitement is that raising for you to have the youth involved to help us with this event?
Well, it's a unique opportunity. I know I was very involved in FFA growing up, and I've never heard of anything like this happening. I know that Alyssa Mullet, she's very excited to have this opportunity and take advantage of the marketing that they'll be able to do for their local FFA chapter. But my children and I went in and spoke with the FFA department 6-8 months ago on what to expect, what we're going to need help with, what we're going to be offering as far as education and opportunities to learn about these Devon cattle and grass genetics. And the questions that I fielded that evening were very, very, very good, very deep questions that I would never have expected from a high school age student to be asking. I know that small family farms, even in this local area, are becoming less and less. Farms are being bought by larger developers and developed. Families are discouraging their children from trying to make a living from the farm. So like me, I did not come from a large farming family, so I didn't have the opportunity to look forward to inheriting land and an established business. So hopefully we'll be able to spark the interest of some of these kids that are interested in cattle to maybe broaden their horizons and their view into the possibility of learning what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and that they can very much do it as well, as long as they set their goals and work to attain those.
Yeah, that's great. You could maybe be getting a future farmhand out of this as well.
One could only hope. Man, it's hard to find good help.
So kind of around that question too, I wanted What about your children? Are they showing a lot of excitement to have this event coming up?
Oh my goodness, Charlie and Warren and Alden, they're so very excited. From trying to think of ideas on how to include everyone in some kind of an activity while they're on the farm or on the place, to asking if making sure that they're going to have be able to be picked up and brought to wherever we're at with our day after school. Um, they definitely they know and they appreciate that I keep them very involved, and their excitement is what is a lot of times what fuels me to continue to build and to uh, keep looking for opportunities to keep this business going. So they're just ecstatic about it, and like Steve was saying, he's excited to see the kids. Well, the kiddos are all excited to see everyone that's going to attend as well.
That's great. We're gonna have some great hosts then.
Oh man, yes, yep.
So kind of along the line of your kids, what are some of your future goals, or what are some things you envision on happening in your farm?
Well, uh, it's any kind of a venture, any kind of an enterprise should be under constant evaluation of, in my opinion, of what, where you're at, where you were, are you working towards the end goal? And for me, initially, it was we needed to just get cattle and put them on the land so that we could start producing some grass-fed genetics. And then we looked at marketing opportunities and decided that we would get into direct marketing our beef. Well, uh, in the last 10 years, our business has just exploded. However, with our family getting older and everybody getting into different activities, my Saturdays aren't nearly as free as they used to be able to load the truck and hook up to the trailer and head to the farmers market. So we've changed to direct marketing only from the farm this year, and it's been really good. I do have a full-time job off the farm, so the idea of having set hours all the time for people to show up has not been a very good opportunity. I was recently contacted by another local family that raises some other products as far as grass-fed lamb, and also are very interested in raising broilers. So a future partnership with them is being talked about as we speak, as to how we can manage it and make sure that we have someone at the farm once a week at least to sell product and be open as a storefront. So that's what's coming up for me. I've had a lot of improvements going on around the farm over the course of the last year and a half. We're working on setting up our handling facility at the main farm right now. Also built onto a barn, and have been really busy, consumed with that. And nothing like a national show and event to host to give me the fire I needed to get it all done. So that's been good.
Yeah, that's great, Mark. Thank you. You get a question. This is from Bob. It says there's likely over 50 Devons from Wisconsin, Ohio, Iowa, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, from many breeders that are going to show. In addition to your herd, also partnering with the local FFA and getting kids involved, learning about red Devons. What's the most exciting, or what are you most excited about the future of red Devons and hosting the national show? I think you kind of touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really excited that not only is this event going to be red Devon folks that get our publications and get the email blasts and everything. But inadvertently, by utilizing a local agricultural facility that's typically geared more toward production and conventional agriculture, we will have it right in front of them to just be aware, and hopefully they're intentional about learning about it, and we don't depend on osmosis to get them there. But that's what I'm most excited about for this national show.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a super great opportunity to bring in, people that aren't necessarily tied in with us, but to also, welcome in, and they can experience what we've all experienced with the community as well.
Yeah.
I
see another. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I see another question here. Local restaurants and area attractions from one of the members here. We have a lot of, in the Coshocton area itself. We don't have very many chain restaurants. They're mostly locally owned and operated restaurants that are in the Coshocton area itself. During the time of the Devon Associations, or during our conference, the Apple Butter Stirring Festival is going to be going on in Roscoe Village. Roscoe Village is a place that everyone will probably likely drive through to get to the event every day. But that Apple Butter Stirring Festival is a festival to celebrate our heritage here in this local area of families and communities that got together to harvest apples, and the best way they knew how to preserve them was to make the apple butter. So that's going to be going on in Roscoe Village while we're here. There's also other local attractions, such as the canal boat, which is a replica canal boat that's pulled by a team of horses up and down a stretch of canal, the original Erie Canal. And there's evening time opportunities. There's axe throwing. There's local venues that have live music and local wines, different things like that. A lot of social opportunities. And with that, I will say that the last I knew, there weren't a whole lot of rooms available for at the hotel that we blocked off.
Yeah, Coshocton Village Inn.
Coshocton Village Inn and Suites. The last I looked was 2 evenings ago. Airbnb and VRBO both have reasonably priced, nice places that are still available to rent for the amount of time that everyone's going to be here in Coshocton County. So if there's any questions on any of those places or any of the things, people are more than welcome to reach out, and I can give them the best guidance that I have available.
Yeah, I was obviously slow on the draw to get my room reserved, and whenever I called and spoke to them yesterday, they said they only had king suites left. So anyhow, and Mark, I was curious too, and where the Coshocton Village is, where we went and had dinner that night. What's that area called? That was a really neat area for people to go check out.
Yeah, that's Roscoe Village. That Roscoe Village is a throwback village to the early days of the Coshocton area, and the merchants and different vendors that go there dress up in time period clothing and offer an experience to go and learn how other people made a living. Like, there's a local blacksmith shop there, there's a leather maker, there's an old schoolhouse there that's is a huge attraction for kiddos, should anybody decide to bring them.
Yeah, thanks. Jerry Ng was asking about the animal show. Is it going to be a pen show, or animals be groomed and halter broke.
Yes, this year is a pen show. We partnered with the Ohio Texas Longhorn Association, and we're able to rent their pens. They have a large amount of 10-foot divider gates and pens that we were able to use from them to set up pens in a barn there at the FFA department.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that just ties everything in. I mean, here we are, the Red Devon Association, working with the Longhorn Association, working with FFA. We're all trying to figure out how to help each other in a community. And like you said, we're in a community where there's not a lot of chain restaurants. It's going to be great. If you haven't signed up for this event, you definitely are going to want to come out and see it. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yep.
How about the educational side of things, Mark? What do you want to touch on that just a little bit? And what are you excited about for the education for members to get while they're here?
Yeah, I think this year we have a unique opportunity to listen to Jeremy Eng talk about his herd evaluation, from his perspective on evaluating breeding stock and evaluating a pen of steers, but also our judge for this year, Shorty Hostetler, also is a well-renowned breeder himself, and we'll be able to get a different perspective on evaluating these cattle all at the same time. I'm also really excited, AJ, to listen to what you have to offer at this educational event with the butchery class that you're going to be doing. I think that we can all listen and watch and pick up some things that you've done. I know from different times that you and I have had an opportunity to talk or to meet up that you're very, very passionate about processing these Devon cattle. And I just can't wait to watch you do that and listen to what you have to say as you go through that process.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, just expand on a little bit about what Mark was saying. We're going to take a hind quarter, break it down into the finest cuts we can for the primals, and just get an idea. So I want to show people, here's how much meat. We're going to have a scale. We're going to have a handout. We're going to be measuring. We're going to be weighing, just so people will have a handout to take home as a reference. So whenever you get your cuts back and you think, boy, I don't know if I have all of these, we have a full blood Red Devon. And so we'll be able to compare, apples to apples on some of these things and hopefully answer some questions. Yeah. Jerry asked if there'd be a live auction of the animals or private tree sales.
Yes. I'm sorry, go ahead. You can answer that one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, go ahead, Mark. And then Bob also asked, would you have any registered Devons for sale as well to add to that?
Yeah, we're doing private treaty sales at the show, and obviously, if you see something you like, come talk to me. We can talk about a price on anything we have.
Yeah, sounds good. Didn't touch on obstacles or successes you've faced this year or maybe last year leading into this year that was kind of compounded or you built off of. I heard you say you had lots of rain this year, but just kind of curious if you wanted to expand on some of those things.
Oh man, it's agriculture. When is there not an obstacle that we walk out in the barnyard and see? Oh well, that's what we're going to do today. Whatever the problem is that arises. I think this year we've done, thankfully, very well at not having as many unexpected things come up that needed our immediate attention. But man, there's been uh, just I've learned a lot about different disease processes, from pink eye to we had a cow that got into had a piece of baler twine in her intestine and ended up with a bowel blockage. Things to look for, different observations that you know, just learning that pay close attention to these cattle, and if there's something off, they'll tell you. So I think, man, I can't think of any one thing or certain situation that has really been a huge obstacle. It's just we take every day as it comes.
Yeah, that's well said, Mike, for sure. And every obstacle, there's a learning experience and then something you can gain for the next time to build off of. So, yep, you're exactly right. Um, this was kind of similar to what I was addressing there. Given your experience and resources, how do you feel you could help a fellow Devon breeders or someone just getting into the cattle industry? Is there maybe some
Uh,
like a couple words of advice you could maybe give someone that's going to be saying, hey, I kind of enjoy seeing cattle. I'm thinking about getting into it. How should I prepare myself?
I would first of all, I would say educate yourself first and foremost, and even when you have even done the best job you think you could ever do on reading and learning and talking to different breeders, you really have no idea the intensity at some points until you're in the thick of it and you're raising your own cattle. There's just things that you don't pick up by reading a book or by just in general conversation talking with someone until you have the opportunity to witness it with your own eyes and feel it with your own hands. So always expect the unexpected and always remain optimistic.
Yep, amen to that one. Yeah, I think when you're getting into the cattle industry, I mean, you just got to learn to make those relationships. I mean, and like you kind of hinted to earlier, I mean, it's not just Devon related people. It's resources around you. It's the local dairyman that can give you some advice or maybe give you some antibiotics when a vet can't come, or the
Oh,
neighbor down the road that can help you deliver a calf, or keep an eye
yeah.
on when you're not around. I mean, it's just all those things.
Oh man, it's just yes, definitely fellowship with other breeders, and don't be narrow focused to only Devon or grass-fed folks. Um, there's something you can learn, and there's something you have to offer to uh, every cattleman, every type of cattleman that's out there, whether they're showing club cattle or have a family dairy or are a conventional feedlot. I mean, there's there's things that don't change with across cattle, and a lot of these folks have their niche down to a science, and they really can help you from time to time, and obviously reciprocate when you're called upon.
Yep, very well said. Um, yeah, I mean that's about all I had for you tonight there, Mark. I'll give Steve an opportunity here, but before that, I just wanted everyone to know too. We're gonna be doing a webinar here in a couple weeks for the pastured poultry with Steve and Christian. That is gonna be on the 21st. And then in October, we're gonna have Jerry and Jeremy and Vic on again and do part 3 of that genetics and bloodlines. So looking forward to that. I'll go ahead and open it up. I mean, I guess I did kind of going with that too on the webinar series. I had to line up initially here for pastured poultry and then also pastured pork. And I guess my focus this go around was just want to see, our Devon folks, how can you guys be most successful for the land you have? I know Mark, when we're at Mark's, we'll get to see and talk to him a lot about how he's using rented ground to his advantage, how he's getting water and fencing and taking care of some of those things. So that'll be great. And we do a farm tour with Mark. But for those of us that, we just have our own farm and you're thinking, I really don't want to take on another headache. I'm kind of getting my farm where I want it. Maybe you add some pastured poultry or some pastured pork to it, and help them be more profitable on the acres that you have. So that's kind of what we're looking to discuss with Christian and Steve, and talk a little bit about how they're marketing their stuff. So, yeah, Steve, got any questions or closing comments?
Well, first of all, thanks. That's been fun to get excited with you, Mark. It's a beautiful night here in Ohio, and I look forward to having more time together coming up in October. I have here on the table in front of me the 2 trophies for the show that will be mounted onto some wood plaques, and then will be the awards for the grand champions, male and female. So we're excited as we continue to push in and prepare. Yeah, I guess it as Bob said here, there's going to be 50 some animals from all over the country, and so we're just grateful to host here, but also a focus on the local community. I just found out or heard somebody today talk about the fact that Holmes County area where Mark's at, or north of Mark, that area is the largest concentration of Amish in the world, actually, more than in Lancaster area in Pennsylvania. So hopefully the Amish community will come out in mass as well to see these Devons and to see what they can do to help transform the grass-fed beef industry in their areas. I guess for Mark, if you're still around, I don't know if he's there or not since he's off camera, but if you can hear me, Mark, I'm just curious how you're anticipating that to land with the Amish community and what the effects of the Devons will have there in their community. But if he's not on camera and able to answer that, I guess we'll just have to wait for that answer.
My apologies. I had to step out of the truck for a minute and give my kids a big hug. We're at a football scrimmage this evening that I stepped away from to be a part of this. But yeah, as far as the Amish community, I think that the attractant of the type of cattle that we have and the purity of the genetics is going to be a huge point of draw for them. Obviously calm cattle that we can have behind minimal fencing and still be able to get along. In this area, a lot of the folks in the Coshocton County, Holmes County areas utilize portable fencing. So they'll be able to see some of that at the farm and see, these cattle are very docile and are stay behind one strand of poly wire. Well, I also am looking forward to the opportunity to also enlighten the community into different aspects of the Devon genetics, as far as the versatility of these cattle, the adaptability of these cattle, the ease of keeping, if you will, of these cattle as well. So I think it's going to be really good, very exciting, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be value added too, with Shorty being there as a judge and having his outsider's perspective. He's raising mainly Murray Grays, correct? And
Yeah.
so, to have him look at the Devons from an outsider's perspective, I think that's going to be great and value added. And hey, we can learn, where we need to continue to improve breed. Go ahead, Steve. You have anything else?
No, I'm done. I'm thankful for your time, Mark, and excited about the work you put in. Looking forward to seeing the improvements.
It's been a pleasure. I'm very excited to have everyone here, and I know the last time the board of directors we all got together, it was a great time, and I so appreciate just the friendships that we're building as we go along this journey.
Amen to that.
Yep, amen, for sure. Yeah, thanks everyone for being part of this. Won't take up any more of Mark's time here tonight, and come on out. Super excited for this event, and we'll get some of this information up on our social media. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night.